So today, we're multiple episodes in now.
Yeah.
Right? Multiple. I think we're in the double digits now, I think.
We're in double digit land.
Yeah. So, and today we have a really, really cool cat joining us. And his name is Karl Nickoley. And I do a lot of business with him. He has a realm of great business that he does here in Las Vegas and also in LA. And I figured before we even get started in the conversation, maybe we'll just throw the audience a little taste of something that you have recently done. Alex, can you pull up some content that Karl just finished working on?
Las Vegas.
Yes, yeah. You wanna know the place? Yes, yeah. Put something in your face. Yes, yeah. Come get you a plate. Yes, yeah. Yes, yeah. You wanna know the place? Yes, yeah. Put something in your face. Yes, yeah. Come get you a plate. Yes, yeah. Yes, yeah. Yes, yeah. Do you wanna know? Do you wanna know? Do you wanna know the place? Yes, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Pretty awesome,
Karl,
man.
thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That video's had a couple views, huh?
Yeah, it's wild. Like that one was for 50 Best, which was here in Vegas, which, was a huge tip to Vegas's foodie culture. Like we were known as the buffet town forever, and now we're hosting the 50 Best, which is like the Oscars of the food industry.
Yeah.
From what I understand, Las Vegas, and I keep telling people this, especially when I'm going to LA. I was just in LA a couple weeks ago, hanging out with my sister, and she's like, this restaurant and this restaurant. And I'm like, well, Las Vegas has the most 5-star restaurants of any city in the world. Would I be like right when I say that? Or?
I mean, yeah, I'm not. It's crazy. Like in our business, we just service the client, and we have some pretty cool clients and pretty cool projects. So we're doing like food one day and football the next, and planes the next for the airport or whatever. But yes, as far as my experience in Vegas, you can go and do anything 5-star, Michelin star
at any time of the day or night.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's the greatest thing ever.
And
Yeah,
just
I love it.
for our people listening in, as far as that video we just watched, what did you do? What is that?
So that's a video that so I run a production company. We've been around since 2011. FrequencyPictures is the production company. That was a commercial, a part of a bigger campaign for Visit Las Vegas. So they were hosting the 50 Best here in Vegas, and that played in all the TV lead up to the award ceremony. It played during the show itself. And then, as far as a larger campaign trying to attract people to Vegas as a foodie town. So as far as my role goes, like I took out the trash in that video, I washed the plates, I paid all the bills. But it produced it. So
the 17 million views in 2 months is not too bad. That's got to make you feel like you did a good job.
I hope. Yeah. People, Vegas is LVCVA. So Visit Las Vegas has been one of our biggest clients here in town. And, numbers are up. So that just shows, visiting numbers are up. People are spending more money here. They're staying longer. All of those things are a testament, I think, to some of the work that we're doing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
That's great. So from the commercials aspect of it, they're giving you the idea, and you're plotting out the idea, saying we're going to shoot this, then we're going to shoot this, then we're going to shoot that, then we're going to put it all together, and we're going to make this commercial out of it. Would that be accurate?
Yeah. So like every project is different. It's just like every song is different. Somebody might come with an idea or like an already strung out melody, or some people come out with just like, hey, this is our problem, please fix it.
Do you get a lot of those?
That's why there's ad agencies. They do a lot of that, like interference between the production company and the client. But
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the time a traditional commercial comes to us with boards. So they come with either a script or a storyboard of like a loose idea of like, this is kind of the campaign that we're thinking of. And we have to go and find the right director for that. Whether it be one of our directors or somebody that the agency is really looking at, and we make a relationship with, but we put up that talent and we bid it, because we have to see the job before we have to see that product before we even win the job. Because we have to bid on it. So we have to know how much.
Are you walking into that project when you're bidding it blind? Like, this could be this much, but I'm going to bid this much? Or do you, I'm sure you pad everything too, but is there a way to charge for additions, or how does all of that work?
I mean, it's yes, and yes. I mean, you have to, experience has taught me a lot. The more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately in our business, you can't practice without spending money. So, the scale of these jobs are pretty insane for just a 1 or 2 day shoot. That was I want to say I think it was 10 or 12. No, it was 12 different restaurants in 3 days.
Wow.
And these are the biggest restaurants on the strip that we are shooting in or filming in. And
are you closing down the restaurant as you're filming? Like, hey, we need this section of the restaurant. So all of that gets closed down. No sound, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I mean, luckily that we didn't have audio on that. That's all like after the fact. But all of that is part of, sometimes we have to shut them down. Sometimes we have to shoot around an active restaurant being open or a location being open. So you have to think about all of this in the bidding stage. When a project comes in, the agency or the client might say, "Hey, I've got X number of dollars that I want to spend," and you have.
What's like a standard? Just on the blue, not this one in particular, but kind of like, okay, they're a well-known brand, blah blah blah. They need a 30-second slot. What does a commercial like that cost?
How long is a piece of string, brother?
Exactly, right?
It all depends on the creative. Are you shooting on a stage? Are you shooting in a practical location? How many talent are there? How many are there? Is it day? Is it night? All of this stuff like affects the cost. But I mean, if you were to just look for an average run of the mill, LA style commercial, just the production of it is about $450,000 to $500,000 a day, per shooting day.
Okay,
and that's a union job, like a bottom tier union commercial, and that might seem like holy shit, like $500,000 for a day. It's like, brother, I could walk you down and I'll show you how little that money actually is,
especially in LA.
Well, here too.
I mean, what are the permits? What do the permits cost in LA versus what they cost here? Because I know they're a little bit more lenient out here than they are LA, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, Clark County and the city of Las Vegas hasn't really gotten to the film LA standpoint of we're very film friendly here as of right now. I think that's just mainly due to a little bit of inexperience with an industry existing here. It's like every once in a while, it's like it's happening.
I mean, in
regularly.
LA, they're shutting roads down daily, right? They're redirecting traffic, which means they have to have police on scene. They've got to close that area down, right? Then you got to spend hours setting up all the gear to shoot something that may take 30 seconds.
Well, in the end, it's 30 seconds or 15 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
But
but I mean, your hours of shooting, right? Like take 18.
Yeah. A typical shoot day is 12 hours.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like Vegas is getting close with all the road shutdowns.
Yeah, I know.
We might as well be the next LA.
Yeah, construction zones everywhere out here, buddy.
We're getting close, and obviously there's a huge push for Hollywood 2.0 and that term to come out here. And
well, you got Jared Leto that's moved out here. He's trying to start up a studio, right? You got Mark Wahlberg that is here that is wanting to start up a studio. Huge project out in south of Summerlin that they are actually going to break ground and build a Hollywood
Sony.
studio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right. Sony. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it all hinges on the tax incentive, So, I
Mhm.
mean, we're going on a couple different.
Yeah. We're all over the
Tangents
place
here,
right
but-
now, dude. Why don't we just rewind? Tell us how you got started. Like, okay, dude, you're from Colorado and go.
Man. So growing up in Colorado, I had this like big open space behind my house. We called it like the green belt. And,
Mhm.
I somehow got into, the home movie camera, hanging out with a bunch of friends, like trying to make a Scream. I remember Scream had just come out and like
Okay.
the original Scream. And we had the Scream costume. I was like it for Halloween or something one year.
Nice.
And we made like a couple different, like short films, with that character. And it was fun. And it was like something to do. And it was like we didn't have cell phones back then. We didn't have
Mhm.
like, any of this.
How old were you at this time?
It was like probably like 12 or like
Okay.
10 or
Yeah,
something.
10, 11, 12. That's when Scream came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cause we're about
Yeah,
the same
you guys
age.
are the same age. Yeah.
We're at an
Yeah.
interesting age.
I'm much younger than you guys are.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're at
It's
an
so
interesting
jealous.
age where we know a life before technology, but
Right.
then we also were like the first ones to when everybody had a cell phone.
It was
you know?
our fault that it was
Right.
adapted. We could have said no.
We could have been
Yeah.
like, nah, the kids aren't buying it.
Yeah.
Right.
But we bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great to have like, just it was a really cool way to like spend time and like learning how to tell stories other than just reading about them or, having somebody tell you a story. It was like you could create the story. And then in high school, like I was on the football team, but I also was in like a video class that was part of my electives that I wanted to sleep in and maybe show up for.
Right.
So, and it was like through that class, I was editing all these football highlight videos and it was like played in the lunchroom and it was like very evident. It was just pre-social media, it was like you had the
Not even a MySpace around right now.
it was in the early days.
Barely,
Okay.
yeah.
Early days of MySpace.
Yeah.
So we're probably 2002, 2003 we're talking
Yep.
right now. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was, I was in high school and it was like, quickly learning how to, capture and tell a narrative. Like you
Mhm.
could,
Were you thinking about that back then? Like, how do I figure out how to tell this story?
well, yeah, that's,
Because you're learning it in class, or was it just come natural to you? I think about like M. Night Shyamalan, right?
Mhm.
And it's just like a lot of that stuff just came natural to this guy. You know?
it was a little bit of a gift, I guess you could say,
Mhm.
like a natural ability, but,
Yeah.
you are figuring it out. I mean, even just what the guy, Alex behind the switcher right now, like,
Right.
he's telling this story and he's using his creative ability to cut to the wide shot or to
Yeah.
cut to, Ryan or
Yep.
Because
all
then
of-
now he cuts to me when I'm talking, and that's his talent.
Yeah.
Good job, Alex.
That is
Or
very-
to anticipate.
Good job, Alex.
all of that stuff is part of the storytelling process. And
Mhm.
so I learned that through these little football videos. And then my brother, who is about 13 years older than me, was an accomplished music producer and composer at the time. So
Okay.
he had gone out to LA when he was 18. No one in our family had been in the entertainment industry before. Like, we're not like, what?
What did your parents do growing up?
My dad was like he was a regional manager for wholesale plumbing, like Kohler toilets and
Mhm.
faucets and
Okay.
high-end showers and stuff like that. And then my
Okay.
mom was a administrative legal secretary. And then I was born and she ended up working at our church for a long time.
Okay.
Um,
Did either one of them have any creative ability or creative talents? Like they could draw really well or played music really well or anything like that?
they had to raise us.
That's great. That's
That's
creative.
a talent right
Yeah.
there.
I mean,
super talented.
yeah. I think I get a lot of my creativity from my mom.
Mhm.
and I think I get a lot of like the practical logistical side of, you know, running a business and things like that from my dad. But yeah, it became evident once Scott went out to LA that there was this whole new world. And it was like, you know, early 2000s when, you know, LA was like the epicenter for everything entertainment.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was working with like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake. And, you know, he started doing South Park, and being from Colorado, he was like a superstar, you know, and like doing all the music for South Park. And I would go visit him, and we would go to Disneyland, and I would like, it was like this magical, like, I am coming here regardless of whatever anybody says.
Yeah.
And then
kudos to your brother, man.
Yeah.
Going out there to LA and
he
making it happen.
definitely paved the way for sure.
Yeah.
And
how did he end up getting out there? You know, we were talking about this a little bit earlier in the green room, and a kind of interesting story of how he made it out there.
Yeah, he just left, and you know, not a lot of support from the parental figures. You know, this has never been done before. You know, like in our family, and obviously it's very hard to make it in the entertainment industry.
Are your parents saying you're making a mistake? Or were they like, sure. I wish you well, son? Or were they like, you're making a mistake?
My dad was like crying on the doorstep, you know, as the U-Haul drove away, and like, probably,
what is he doing?
Yeah, tough, you blew it. You know,
you blew it.
Yeah, your oldest son, you know, your firstborn is going off and hopefully gonna make something of himself, and he did, but he didn't make it far. He made it to Vegas, and he ran out of money because he was an 18-year-old dumb kid,
right?
And so eventually, when he made it to LA, it was like midnight or something, and he needed a job because he had no money. And he had no place to live. And he went to this place called Spencer's, which is like a retail store.
Oh yeah.
In the Westwood Mall.
Yeah.
And was just like knocking on their glass when they opened. Was like, do you have a job for me? And they were like, yeah, like
they were
help.
ready, huh?
Like, come help. So he had it within 6 hours of landing in Vegas or in LA. He had a job, you know, which was
just making things happen. Though.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Was he living in his car kind of guy for a little while, or how did that all pan out?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know the exact details, but I know it was rough in the beginning for him. You know, like everybody going to LA, if you don't come from means, like it's an expensive.
Your first house was always your car when you moved to LA.
Yeah, and so, you know, when I decided to go out there, like Scott had found a lot of success, especially in my dad's eyes, like, okay, this is doable. But then I was like, oh, I'm just throwing a curveball, and no music. It's going to be film.
Yeah. It's a whole other world.
And I wanted to be a director and a producer. It was kind of just like ancillary. It was just like, yeah, like I want to direct. I want to be the next Spielberg. You know, that's what I was wanting.
That's your hero then. Spielberg is
he's one of the greats for me.
Yeah.
You know, and as time goes on, you know, there's nuances of different department heads that I love. You know, like really love certain production designers. I really love certain art directors, or like composers, or like, and they make an entire movie a whole different world. You know, imagine like Interstellar without Hans Zimmer as the composer, you know,
be different. Yeah.
It'd be a whole different experience. And so, yeah, I decided I was kind of faced like, do I want to go keep partying with all my friends and go to Colorado State University, or do I want to go to Chapman University in Orange County? And they had just gotten a brand new film school, and it was like, man, this could be cool. I could play football, like D3 there if I wanted to, or like.
Were your parents encouraging college at that time too? Like
we were touring. Yeah, we were touring all the college. I think my dad was like, oh man, 2 out of 3 didn't go. Like, or like they didn't make it all the way through. You know, my brother went to UCLA music school when he went to LA.
Yeah. So he's working at Spencer's Gifts, and he's going to school at UCLA,
like extension program. Yeah.
Awesome.
And that was how he, learned the business side of music. He was playing trumpet and my other brother too. Like we all were musicians. I'm brother of 3.
Okay.
But yeah, Scott just kind of took to the creativity part the most, I think.
So before you decided to leave to LA and you had been doing your football videos, did you start making different pieces and stuff like, hey, let's put together some videos with your friends?
It was like influencer shit before influencers existed, content create, like just
little short films,
little highlight videos or like little things for certain.
Was
programs.
It like, kind of like Jackass a little bit,
Oh yeah.
Because that was hot. That was big when we were growing, everybody was like, let's get a camera and try and do this.
Burn ourselves and catch ourselves on fire.
I am so glad that the like internet isn't documented of like my, I missed it by like this much. Man.
Yeah.
Like
you missed that imprint, right?
Yeah, if that
Everybody's
stuff
got that
existed
imprint,
of like what I was doing with my friends.
Yep.
Moving traffic cones. Like, let's film this. Like cars going through. Like we weren't causing accidents, but it was close.
My oldest daughter, she just turned 23, and we were just going through some of her stuff that's still on YouTube.
Oh,
and
wow.
like when she was 11 years old, she's playing guitar, like air guitar to his songs, Darker Side of the Moon.
Yeah. Wow.
Jeez.
That's crazy. That came out almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's cool though that like
so you just
videos,
missed that era of getting stuck on the internet and not being able to get it down.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. But
so continue. Yeah. So you so how'd you get out? How'd you get out there? How'd you end up making the move?
Well, like I had to make the choice. I think internally it was like I put this deadline on myself that was like I had to make something of myself before any of my friends did or something like that. Like I don't really remember what the motivation was, but it was definitely like I could have a good time and I could go party and have a typical college experience, or I could give that up and take it seriously. Like go
be something.
Yeah. And I decided to try that. And so we went to LA Film School and we decided to go there. And that was at the time was not a part of Full Sail. It was just like its own private school and it was a for-profit school. And it was like, I didn't really know what that meant back then, but I found out. And it was like 90 credit hours in one full year period. So it was intense.
Yeah, that's intense.
12-hour days. They're kind of preparing you for what
kind of 3 times the normal, really.
Yeah. They're preparing you for what a film shoot is like, and like how the business doesn't really care what you feel like. Like,
right.
We're just gonna do it, and
the show must go on.
Exactly. So I don't know if they do that the same way now, but I am pretty grateful for that experience. Like of just I wanted to get it over with. I wanted to get out there into the working world. And so is
it because kids are just a little too sensitive these days?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, like, now working with all these, what is it now? Gen X or Z?
There's a new name. I heard it on the news the other day. There's a new name for like the 13-year-olds. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah. I hope it's not millennial, because that was such a like connotation for us.
It was.
Like,
yeah.
And it was bad. Like when you were called you effing millennial.
Yeah.
I remember being called like, whatever, dude.
I've said that before.
Yeah. Okay, boomer.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what
we got a little bit of respect.
Yeah. I played with a mayonnaise jar and a stick when I grew up. But it was, I don't know. There was a lot of just getting right into it. And I gave up a lot of I did fly home quite a bit, like as much as I could, and still go to the college parties and, hang out with all my friends and stuff. But
sure.
I was definitely glad that I wasn't doing that full time, because I was,
It's not sustainable.
Well, no, and like
It doesn't mix with hard work very well.
no, and there's it's I was watching this Jordan Peterson video the other day, and it was like,
Love Jordan Peterson.
yeah, and it was just
such an incredibly smart individual.
it was him, or maybe no, actually, Robert Greene, the author,
Yeah, oh yeah.
Laws of Power, and,
Yeah.
and I think it was one of his videos, and he was like,
Yeah.
there's something that is innate in all human nature that is like when you go through something hard to get to the other side, whether it's be mastering a piano, for example, it takes like 5-10 years before you're like really good.
Well, I
Yeah.
think
10,000 hours.
Malcolm Gladwell coined it the 10,000 hour rule.
Right,
If
yeah.
you do
Yeah.
anything for 10,000
You
hours,
master it.
then you master it. Yeah.
But what Robert Greene was saying was like somewhere in like the 3-year period, if you've stuck to it, you start to like fully, it starts to become an extension of you, and you start to have fun. You can start to play things that you like had no idea, how to even read a couple like,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes exponential,
Yeah.
When the exploration begins.
Yeah.
And you can.
and like giving up like the partying and the fun times and stuff was part of my, I think, hard, and like going all in on my business, because once I was 4 years, once all these kids that I went to high school with were like graduating, I was 3 years into the business, by that
Okay.
point. I'd been to the Oscars already once,
Wow.
not like just as an attendee,
Sure,
Right.
and like that was just like a whole other, it felt like I was just
It's a different world.
leapfrogged ahead of, a lot of people.
Mhm. So you did the school for a year, and then you started a business while all your other friends are still going to college.
Well,
Is that how do I have the timeline right?
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I graduated and, right into the 2008 recession,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like the writer's strike back then was happening. Film was switching to digital with Netflix. There were so many things in our business that was in flux. And I was
You're
just
like, I just went to school for a year to learn it all this way, and
Oh
now
my
it's
God.
going this way.
I learned on a film camera.
Right.
Like the very
Yeah.
first project I did out of film school, I produced how I ended up producing this was, I have no idea, but it was a pretty high end for the $35,000, like not
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Like-
That's great.
high end music
Yeah.
video. It was like this shot on Super 35. It was
Yeah.
like we shot at Point Doom in Malibu, and
Yeah.
it was pretty cool to like be a part of.
Who was the music video for?
This girl, Brooke Wilkes, who
Okay.
she was like the cover artist at Disneyland for like ever. She was
Okay.
like the one.
Like when you walk through the whole deal, she's out there singing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
uh-huh.
performing the hits of Disney, and then
Right.
she had her own music that like she wanted to do, and I can't even remember how I met her, but I became pretty good friends with her, and yeah, I ended up working for her a little bit out of school. Dude, I had no money. Like there
Yeah.
was out of film school, like no one prepares you for like
Being broke.
all of your friends and your peers are still in high school. They're on their second year at that point,
Yeah.
like a second and a half year, like they're 19 years old. And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, I have a security deposit, got to get like utility bills. And like, okay, those are just the basics. Then you got to like eat and like go and like have a life and like pursue things. And
Yeah.
all of this requires money and like,
Was your brother pretty secure at that time where he was able to help you out, give you some room and board, or were you kind of just still winging this thing on your own?
we're pretty competitive between like we actually own a business together now. And we're still
we'll
very
jump in that. Okay.
competitive, but
Uh-huh.
I think there's always
He's
this,
like, suck it up, camper.
He's like,
Get
I
out
did it.
there
I'm
and
too
get it
busy for
done. I
you.
did it.
like he's not
Yep.
gonna give me a handout or anything like that. And like
Right.
I stayed in his studio for like a month in film school, but like
Mm-hmm.
it's like, dude, go get an apartment, bro. Like
Yeah.
figure it
what
out.
are you doing, buddy? Yeah.
No, so I like pulled
Get your
out
shit together.
So I like pulled out student loans when I was in school to like live in LA. My parents paid for the film school part of it, like the tuition part, which I'm like extremely grateful for.
Yeah.
But it required a lot of extra money to live in LA, and like I had to produce a thesis film too, like which is if you wanted to be a director, you had to fund this thesis film. And of course I have this problem with where like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And then I come up with the most expensive ideas. And I learned quickly, like, well,
clients love that, by the way.
Yeah. And so now I'm basically done with film school. I made this like super expensive thesis film. I like crushed it. I thought I was just going to walk into making movies.
I'm walking into doing the Green Hornet tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. I was like this, and I had no idea. And so yeah, and then I went through this like, valley of despair and like, what am I doing? And should I go back to school? But I'm picking up PA jobs along the way, which is like a production assistant job.
Yeah.
Which is like an entry level job, depending on where you are in the totem pole. Like it's not
Are
necessarily
you unionized with that?
No.
Okay.
Well, they just actually, that's funny that part of the whole IATSE terms this last couple months,
they pulled them into the system.
Production managers and coordinators are going under IATSE in the commercial agreement, which is like, it's a huge problem.
What is IATSE?
It's a union for like below the line crew. So all your
any type of production. I mean, there's IATSE crews that are setting up your stages, dude.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lighting and everything else.
And there's a lot of issues that happen with coordinators and PMs joining this.
Why do you think that's a bad thing? What makes it a bad thing? They
have to become under certain guidelines. Like, there's now pay scales, and there's now, and I'm sure any production manager listening to this is like nodding their head, like, yeah, fucker, like that's, I want to get paid. And like, of course, like you're going to get, that's part of the production side is like, they put in the more hours than anybody else. They only have a certain amount of days allotted in the budget, but it usually requires double that. Like a producer has like on that $500,000 commercial, a producer has 10 days allocated to working on that. They get paid $1,000 a day or $1,500 a day or whatever. But you really think it's going to take 10 days to do this?
Or is it going to take 30 when it's unionized?
Or it's it's going to be spread out. And like how it works now is like, if you get a good team with the right attitude, like, yeah, okay, I'm making 10 grand or 15 grand for 10 days of work on a 1-day commercial or a 2-day commercial, which is a lot of prep and it's a lot of responsibility because that producer is in charge of, making sure that they're coming under budget or they're on budget, they're on schedule. Like you are spending a boatload of money in a very short period of time. And it's a big, big responsibility to the agency is trusting a ton with you, the producer. So having these production people under this agreement is going to be interesting because now the production companies, guys like me, have to go to the agencies and say, hey, it costs X more now.
Right.
Because of all of this. And they're like, what? Like, why are we paying overtime for your coordinator after 12 hours? It's like, and
we have to.
And why are they working 18 hours on our shoot day? Why is it 20 hours on their time card? It's like, well, this is what they actually do. They're the first ones there. They're the last ones to leave. They've got to deal with all the other departments that are also filing overtime and trying to get their little extra bonuses here and there, but they're also working their ass off. Like, I'm not saying like it's a bad thing. It's just, it's going to be a lot of awkward and harder conversations on the client side. Like, unionizing in general is when you have fractions of a job that has part of it's union, part of it's not. Some departments are union, some are not. And like the production company or the agency is like, yeah, we'll sign with your union, the Teamster union, but we won't sign with IATSE. It's like, it creates this really weird.
Yeah, there's
dynamic.
a weird dynamic going on the show floor, on the job floor, right? When that's going on, yeah.
Yeah,
I know. Same thing in our industry too. It's really weird. And Teamsters, you know, they're the only union in Las Vegas that does forklift driving and installation and dismantle out on the show floor. Every other city has show decorators that do that. Teamsters only drive the freight in and out, you know? So here it's a little bit different, and it's weird. It's a weird dynamic, especially when you go out of the city and you're traveling with a job and you're a Teamster, like I used to be many years ago. But I'd show up on job site in Philadelphia and it's like, you better not touch that.
Yeah. Very similar.
You can drive a forklift, but don't touch that.
Wow.
Very similar in the film business. You know, on the big movies, like the big Marvel movies and all this stuff, like where you have everybody's union. You can't touch that stinger, which is an extension cord. They call it a stinger. Like, don't you dare touch that. That's an
better go get somebody.
That's an electrician's job. Like, all you need to do is just plug this thing into the wall, like, or just wrap the cable. Like, bro, you're fired.
Wow. Yeah.
I've literally in Philadelphia, I've had union guys tell me, if you pick up one more thing, you're going to be out in the back parking lot in not too good a shape. Don't touch anything else.
Yeah.
And one time I remember Kyle, who used to work for us, he's kind of had a loudmouth and he's talking crap, right? And they literally took the directions from him. Like, he's supervising the job, telling them what to do. They took the directions from him. They said, now you don't get to do the directions anymore. We're doing it from this point moving forward.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Unions, man, is an interesting game. I'm like, moving from LA to Nevada has been a amazing experience because it's like, it's a right to work state. You know, you don't have the unions that control a bunch of stuff. However, you have a lot of these unions that are controlling the hotels, which is a whole nother world that I'm learning. But back to film school, all of this that I'm talking about now, I knew nothing. None of this was taught in film school.
I just want to go and put a camera on somebody.
I thought I was going to be Spielberg. So, lot of humble
pie.
Well, was eaten in the early days. And
is it a lot of hurry up and wait in the movie biz too? You know, I mean, dealing with Ryan and the music business side of things, everything was always hurry up and just wait, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. And I'm the kind of guy that's like,
that explains, one, why you're a business owner, and two, why you got yelled at by the Teamsters or whatever. You know,
exactly.
I just want to get this.
Just trying to get this shit done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that our business is very, very much hurry up and wait. I mean, and working with ad agencies is extremely stressful. It's not for the faint-hearted or like the sensitive or because it's a lot of like
change on the fly.
Yeah, and like, why haven't you done it? And like, even if it's their fault,
right?
Like they won't own it.
You should have assumed that we knew what we were talking about and just did that.
Yeah.
Right.
What I'm trying to do is with my company and with, just my leadership style that I'm kind of figuring out along this road is I'm trying to give people a little bit of a longer leash, but I need them to own projects. Whereas a lot of people need, like, especially like this newer generation, but like in general, I think it's not even a generational thing. It's in general, people need a lot of hand-holding in life. Like, hey, where do you want to go for dinner? I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, not just the whole wife thing, but you could talk to your friends about that. It's I don't know, man. True. What do you want? Like, bro, just make a decision. Like, do you want me to make
That is the number one rule, I think, as an entrepreneur, is you have to be able to make decisions and not make decisions tomorrow. You have to be able to make decisions on the fly. And I have people coming in and out of my office and own it when it's done too, or
when it's wrong.
Or when it's wrong. Yeah.
So anyways, when we first moved to Vegas, I had this opportunity to do this documentary, which was about these Irish musicians called the Black Donnellys.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is this
So
is kind of
cool.
like right up your alley right here, man?
Yeah,
Because
man.
it's funny. I think at the same time he's doing this, right? You guys are on tour, and we're doing a documentary on you guys on tour
Yeah.
that has never aired, and we've never put it together. We have all the footage. But
That's
keep
a rough one.
keep going. Yeah,
It was a rough one.
it was a rough tour. There was a lot of drama
Yeah.
involved in it, but
Editing of documentary is tough.
yeah,
You know, and especially one like this. And yeah, this was feature length, and you know, you have this idea, which is these guys wanted to do a world record doing 60 shows in all 50 states in under 40 days. And okay, as a director, you're like, that's a really cool concept for like 15 minutes.
right,
You know, like what else is the movie going to be about? You know?
right.
It was, you know, low budget.
Yeah.
We were pitched
Sleeping in cars, sleeping in the Winnie.
that Cruise America RV, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that exact model.
Oh my God. I've put 16,000 miles in on one of those things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
They are designed for weekend trips to the Yellowstone,
Mhm.
and not bombing it across the country.
Yeah.
You know, parts
Yeah.
of it were falling off, and
I
like,
second that. It's very true.
I mean, yeah, even in your tour bus, when that big tour bus that we rebuilt, the entire tour bus for them back in 2014, and put 9 bunks in there so that all the crew and they could all sleep comfortably and everything else. And
It was so
I mean,
badass.
even that, it was a badass bus too, but even that would have its issues
oh,
just
yeah.
because it's on the road. I mean, one tour you guys
Pulling
do
the
what,
trailer.
14,000
yeah.
miles?
Oh, yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we know.
And then they get back and then they go back out like 2-3 weeks later for another 14,000 miles.
If I got back, I was not
Yeah.
leaving.
No, believe me, I've been out with them before, and literally, I'm like, dude, drop me off at the airport. I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, and like these are Irish guys. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
go hard.
Yeah.
And like,
We're
These
half
guys are
Irish,
Irish
so,
guys
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a whole new experience. I mean,
Right.
I drank
You've
I
never
drank a
drank-
lot in
In a little amount of time. You
Yeah.
drank in every state.
I have.
Yeah, there you go.
I have. It was crazy, man. There was like volcano going off in Hawaii when we were there.
Whoa.
There was the first hurricane of the year when we were down south. We hit it all, and we had no money. So they were like, all of this was being revealed to me and my team that I had
Mhm.
assembled and had promised a paycheck.
Right.
You know, when we
Were
got
they
started,
paying you and then you're
the money the band's manager
Uh-huh.
reached out to me and they were like, hey, we got this thing. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have this Prevost van. It's gonna be like this amazing tour bus. And like, it's gonna be, you guys are gonna have this like awesome experience once in a lifetime. I'm like, this
Gotta do it.
Sounds
like,
good.
I'm like,
yeah.
see you later, Taylor.
Right.
Like my wife. And like we leave. Well, we show up and there's no bus. And
Mhm.
there's nothing actually.
Mhm.
There was a Suburban that they had rented, and I'm like,
What's
okay,
this?
like, well, we talked.
Is this
about,
taking us to
well, we
the
talked
tour
about
bus?
like a chase car, you know, in
Okay.
case we needed to like, all jump in or something, do something. I was like, cool, like whatever.
Dude, you're
Yeah.
like thinking this is big budget stuff.
But I was
can't
like,
wait.
yeah, I saw the budget,
Yeah.
all Phantom.
All
Phantom.
Like this
Wow.
was again a part of the entrepreneurial journey of like
Yeah.
learning how to take deposits, learning how to vet people, learning how to do all this stuff.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, this Cruise America Winnebago shows up, and they're like, "This is temporary. The bigger bus will join you later."
Oh.
And like, we gotta go. Like, we got Lake Havasu was our first out of state venue. Like, we had to go. Like, all of this was scheduled already. The first like 20 shows were already scheduled. They, you know,
Yeah.
like, okay, well, we'll go, you know, and everybody was a good sport and we were having a good time. And then you get up to like Seattle and you're like,
Where's the
where's
bus?
the bus? And
I'm tired.
where's the like break? And where's
Yeah.
where's everything that we were promised?
Uh-huh.
And
I mean, for those that don't know out there too, you know, a Prevost with a driver, that's like $1,200 a day.
yeah.
People don't realize
Plus fuel.
Yeah, plus fuel. Exactly.
And dumping fees. And you got to park that bitch too.
Yeah.
Like, that thing's a big monster.
Yeah.
Like-
you ever parked next to Whiskey a Go-Go before?
Yeah.
Woo!
You get in trouble.
In a tour bus with a 30-foot trailer behind it? Woo!
Yeah. Dude.
That's fun because it's $475 to park it for 3 hours across the street.
Yeah. And like you're making that for your whole show,
Right.
you know, or if you're
Yep.
lucky.
Exactly.
And you know, like, so I learned quickly what the life of a musician was like. And Godspeed, brother. And yeah, it was crazy to be with these guys who were truly trying for their American dream. Like they were laying it out on the line, you know, balls to the wall. Like they could stop at any time, go home to their family, you know,
Call it over like, yeah, good shot.
yeah. Like,
Mhm.
you know, it was good. A lot of things were going wrong against you. It wasn't your fault, blah, blah, blah. This is the definition of America, you know,
Mhm.
is like what these guys did and what they overcome. And like the whole journey of like being sold a false bill of goods, still gumming and like,
So were they
Making it-
sold a false bill of goods too, or was it just
yeah,
you?
I mean, it was
All
kind
the
of
way around.
Yeah. And, you know, I hate to like bag on, you know, cause I'm putting myself in the manager's situation.
Yeah.
I'm sure, you know, he had a certain, you know,
He had a concept.
idea.
yeah. And like, you know, he'd sold it to a couple different brands that had never heard back from. And like, probably he was rolling the dice
Yeah.
and it didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
And we were stuck out on the road,
Mhm.
no money. And it was like, all right, well, I talked to my camera, the DP, and I was like, he had his son with him who was like on a summer break. And I was like, as our like PA, like camera assistant, like he just overall badass helper. And I was
Yeah.
like, gathered up everybody. And I was like, okay, well, what do we want to do here? Because I don't know if I can pay you. Like, I will pay you out of my own pocket
Mhm.
if you decide to go, and I will figure this out. Like, I will go raise money. I'll figure this out, you know?
How many crew did you have with you?
We had a tour manager who was like an actual tour manager. So he was like,
Like for the band.
yeah, he was
Mhm.
bamboozled.
Yep.
Like he does like Blink-182 and like that's his
Wow.
main thing right now, I think.
Okay.
This guy Simon, is it Swedish? Sorry, Simon. Danish, Dutch.
Okay.
Sorry, buddy.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
They're close.
He lives in New York. He's fine.
Nice.
He's got thick skin.
American.
Yeah. And then we had Rusty. We had Chad, the driver. You know Chad.
Yeah, I know
And-
Chad.
And then,
Chad was driving, huh?
yeah, the raging peanut,
Whoa.
we called him.
Okay.
And there was another, Tracy was another driver for the SUV. And then we had Michael, the DP, Maximus, his son.
So you're waiting.
Myself.
You're waiting on these checks to come in to pay these guys, and those checks never came.
Yeah. Like
Sheesh.
we didn't have any money to like get a hotel or get food or like, so it was a lot of like coming to
Are
Jesus.
and your business is still in its infancy right now, right? So it's not like you just go, well, I'll just pull it out of the bank account.
Oh, dude.
This
like,
was your first gig moving to Las
one
Vegas
of
from
them.
LA?
Yeah. One of the more exclusive gigs.
Yeah.
You know, we
Mhm.
had just started to like break in with the ad agencies. It was funny because when I was in LA, I was starting to like produce and PM and coordinate. I went down the wrong order there. But
Backwards,
yeah, I was doing like Super Bowl commercials, and we were
Okay.
doing like multiple $1 million budget commercials. Like we're airing on TV, and it was the coolest thing.
Mhm.
And then we decided to leave LA for a better life elsewhere,
Mhm.
and we chose Vegas. I was gonna choose Atlanta. We were gonna go
They
to
have a lot of incentives for Atlanta.
yeah, we
in
were
the
gonna
film business.
open up a studio there. I
Uh-huh.
was actively flying back and forth to Atlanta from LA, and like my buddy was running the studio there, and we were opening it. He was opening it, and I was gonna come work for him. And
Okay.
I just couldn't wrap my head around working for somebody else. And you know, it was just so we came to Vegas, and we had all this debt, by the way, from film school and years and years of, you know, figuring all that out. And my wife,
Stack of white envelopes.
yeah. I mean, it was, I don't know how she stayed with, I mean, she's been it was never a question, you know, she's always been like such a trooper and all this crazy, like,
She's your rock.
yeah, like this adventure that I go on every day. It's like, and she decides to like, yeah, like, well, we'll go to Vegas, and I'll live on rice and beans, and we'll do the Dave Ramsey plan and pay all this debt off. And I saw that she was willing to do it, and I decided right there and then, it was like 2017, like, enough of this bullshit. Like,
No more Indiana Nickoley for me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And, you know, just like, find your balls, dude. Like, like, you know, and like, let's go. And it was a humbling, again, humble pie once again. And so we paid off all this debt, and amazing how once you start to submit and you stop fighting, you know, the universe, and you know, I or God, you know, if you believe in that kind of stuff, but if you submit to God's will, you know, and God's plan, or the universe, or whoever you look at as the creator,
Sure.
it's amazing how things just start to open up, you know, and if you stop fighting it, and like, you know, having your own sense of the idea. And that was kind of a theme, and a little bit on the movie was,
what were you fighting?
What back that?
No,
then?
just like what you're explaining, like you're fighting something.
My ego.
And
Ego.
Yeah. It was letting go of your own ego and your sense of self, and not
it's
in like,
exactly what, by the way, it's exactly what Cain said, is that the battle is with yourself. It's with yourself.
Yeah.
Let it go.
yeah, it's absolutely accurate.
Yeah.
But it's also very, very hard to do, you know, especially when you have all these dreams and these ideas of how things should have been, you know, I committed to this, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, you know, just kind of using these guys otherwise as a reference too, is that, you know, one of their, one of my mentors in the music industry said, you know, their biggest problem is they're trying to create their fans, but you can't make fans. They're fans because they like you. You don't find them; they find you. You know.
Was
And
that, like, wow, was that Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of my biggest mentors too.
Yeah, he
our
is.
lawyer. He's a killer.
Yeah, entertainment
Great.
lawyer out of LA. One of the best. I don't know very many entertainment lawyers,
probably
but I know.
Yeah, you don't want to know
this
too
dude
many.
is the best.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
He is one of the best, and he has some of the biggest clients too because of that.
Yeah.
That surrendering to the greater power there is breakthroughs in it.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's listening to the little voice inside of you that's like, you know what to do, and it's like, it's the loudest voice, but it's this like the quietest whisper, you know, because your ego is just screaming at you like, this is what we're gonna do, and
This is who we are.
I can't, you know, I can't, like, no, we're not gonna do that, and like, but the biggest voice is the smallest, quietest voice. And I don't know. And it's been a theme of my life of letting go of my ego constantly. You know, trying to figure out just how to make it work, how to, you know, with business, especially, like I am fortunate enough now to employ a lot of people, and a lot of contract work on various projects. You know, I issued like 400 1099s this year. You know, it's
a lot.
It's a lot, you know,
a lot.
Of individual people that have individual lives and like goals and dreams and like what the careers of what they're doing. And like your job is a part of that. And I'm like very sensitive to that because I, grew up as a PA in the industry, like just hinging on people saying, yes, you can work on the job. And it's like, all of these people are very talented and they have their individual trades. And like, as a producer, you have to be able to hear all of these people out in a very high stress in tension environment and the ability to delineate the right decision and like allow them to feel like they've made a decision, just because you're paying them a really dope salary for the day or for the project. A lot of producers are like, well, yeah, but like, I'm just filling the role. Like you work for me. It's like, well, no, dude. Like we're a team here and I have to put my hat on of like, why did I hire you? It's like, cause you do what I couldn't do, and you do like everything that I don't know how to do. And, so yeah, learning a lot of that along the way in business has been interesting and tough and fun.
Yeah.
So now you said you gave out 400 jobs.
400
essentially.
400 1099. So like some jobs are, you got
quick
15 people on them. Some jobs you got 100 people on them, But yeah, we did a ton of work last year.
I don't know if you saw and it might have been last year or the year before, maybe it was 22, the big drone show was it for New Year's?
The drone show. We did.
You had a bunch of drones flying down the strip. I think it was the same time the Killers played, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah. We did a few different drone shows.
Okay.
We did one for F1. With like when F1 was announced, we did a big drone show over Caesars, and we filmed that. And then we did during COVID, we did this like, well, that wasn't a drone show, but it was like a firework, like crazy concert with DJ Snake up at the Speedway.
Okay.
And then, I think what you're talking about is.
I'm just like, I guess what I was trying to get at is that we see a lot of these commercials, especially for Las Vegas, and you see them all across the world. And a lot of those commercials that are being created, you're the one who's actually creating those.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, it's a wild,
that's awesome
role.
It's and it's such a secretive business, right? Like who creates that commercial? I mean, somebody has to create it.
Yeah.
Who is the person that created? Guess what? It's Karl.
Yeah. And that would be awesome. It's really not me. It's like, it's the team that
it's a group
we hire and everybody works together and, from the director down to the, set medic to the PA to, the production drivers, like everybody.
So you are like a Spielberg in your own right.
Yeah.
It's
Spielberg of Vegas.
In my own right, I guess. I think I have a long ways to go.
Sure.
We've won some cool awards, we've done some pretty cool stuff, but like
I'll be chatting with him on Zoom. We'll be on Zoom calls, because we do some work for Karl and directly behind him on his shelves. I thought I had cool stuff on my shelves. Like, I've got this dopest, cool, dude. Right? I've got some cool like little things here in this Constitution right here in my Steelers cup, right? Ryan's got the some
original
cool stuff, some
iPad
awards
or iPod
up there, right? The original iPod, yeah. Karl has Emmy Awards behind him, like a bunch of them. And the other funny thing is that on the other side of Karl's desk, there's a table with a bunch more Emmys that he doesn't know what to do with. We were joking about it the other day that like he should use them as door stops. Right. Door stop. Just keep the doors open, right? Yeah, we'll take a couple of those and we'll add them right up here.
That's awesome.
It's been a huge crazy journey, and I think a lot of this like comes back to like the decision of going to school or going to film school and like figuring out like, do you want to start or do you want to keep delaying this for a while? And I think about like where I would have been, you know,
Mhm.
if I didn't decide to just go, you know, I don't know. But
What is the most expensive budget, the highest budget project you've ever worked
I'm
on?
gonna guess. Is it the Boeing project?
no.
Well, I was
No,
gonna
okay.
I was gonna say, can you say the number, and then can you say who it was for?
I can say, yeah. I mean, like, yeah. So I've done a few different Super Bowl commercials, and they've been multi 7 figures. Just the production side. So like not any editing, no talent payment.
Just the
Just
production.
production.
This is
Just
cameras, equipment. Boom.
the set.
We shot it.
Yeah, like all of that. And it's wild, man. Like when you're shooting and you're spending that amount of money, a lot of people don't realize that. Like this is something that I realize in my business. Like even the crew members don't realize what we're actually doing as far as spending money. Like we are a little mini GDP running around and like just
Yeah.
like generating instant economies all over the place. And
Yeah.
we're spending, I mean, upwards of $10,000 every 30 minutes
Yeah.
on some of that stuff,
Yeah.
you know, in labor and in crew and in
Sure.
20,000, you know, an hour, something, $25,000 an hour. But then you think about like the big movies, you know,
Mhm.
you get a big explosion scene or you get a big, you know, things like, all right,
That
well,
was
this-
$7 million right there.
one shot.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's get it on tape this time.
Hope you were recording.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
shit, the little button.
look
I
at
forgot to
yeah.
press that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like it's cool. Like there's certain.
Well, you know, there's a thing that you told me about, and this is a semi new portion of your business. I believe that you own with your brother, and no pun intended by saying semi, but you have a way to bring production costs down, and it's kind of an invention that you created yourself. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Alex, right?
Yes.
yes.
Can you pull up a web page on the thing? It's a
Pull up the webpage on that semi.
Yeah, onlocationproduction.com. So this is a custom built semi trailer, like F1 style or
Yeah.
NASCAR style, double decker semi. You know, I saw like all this waste.
Oh yeah.
Like all of this that you're seeing is in one trailer.
Whoa.
You know, and we have this in our shop, and it's like it's an all-in-one just beast. You know, it's like an aircraft carrier for the film industry.
Wow.
And it's a hard sell these days to like convince people. We had a big strike going on
Yeah.
the last 18 months, but yeah, this
Oh my
this
gosh.
concept is.
I mean, just that Ari camera that he just showed there, that's an $80,000 camera. Am I right to say that?
the glass on it, the lenses are way more.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, this is like can do like anything that the top line producer of a movie enter in Wolverine versus
Yeah.
I mean,
Deadpool. You
kind
have
of.
the equipment on this truck that can do those kind of things, right?
yeah,
That
thanks.
looks amazing.
That
It
yeah,
really does.
dude, what a risk taking venture that was.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that's you know, we
It's phenomenal though. I mean, when you first said, I mean, literally I talked to him, Ryan, and you know, he's telling me about this concept, and this is like 21.
mhm.
He's telling me about this concept, and I'm like, wow, that's a pretty good idea, you know. And we talk about this a lot, you know. There's ideas,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we
And
can
then you
sit
gotta
around
go
and talk
do it.
about ideas all the time, but shit doesn't get done until you do them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the next March, it's done. And he's sending me videos of this thing, and I'm like, wow,
That's sweet.
he
man.
did it. Yes, he did it.
It's I mean, we'll see what happens with it, you know.
Yeah.
In it, but it has created another business and a whole other thing that I never thought. And like
I could
that's
I could assume though that you could potentially use that business for some of your gigs.
Oh, dude, I'm my own best customer.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's great.
Well, and I mean, it's substantially lower cost than renting all the equipment and having that equipment delivered out to a set, right? You're renting out this entire facility that has dressing rooms and makeup rooms and everything else, and a generator and all the equipment on the truck for far less money than it costs for somebody to rent all that equipment and have it delivered out to a set. Correct.
Yeah. If you were to rent all the gear and all the transportation and all the crew and all the drivers that you'd have to, $399 is going to hate me, but all the different stuff that you have to do to bring all of that to set, you're upwards of 50,000 a day, and
this thing's less than half that.
Yeah.
Per day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All inclusive.
Comes with a guy who runs the truck too, right? That assists
Wow.
with where everything is and how to get everything out and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah. We had the fortunate pleasure of premiering that truck at Paramount Studios right when the writer's strike was starting.
It's a perfect timing.
You want to know a story? So we're pulling this beast into Paramount. This is like, I'm back in Hollywood. Okay. I'm like left
They're
Vegas.
all staring you down like, is that thing taking my job?
Dude, the writers are picketing in front of Paramount, like a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're pulling this beast in off Melrose into the Paramount gate. The very classic Paramount gate that's like on all their logos. And shit. It's not the one from like 1912 that was like on the other street. Thank God. The driver we forgot to air down the trailer's so big. It's huge. I mean, this is like
that thing. Yeah.
this thing is massive. It has to be aired down to like clear certain things and aired up to like not high center.
It's on bags.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we forgot to do that because like the driver was all flustered because of the
because
striking.
it's Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, people are like, let's get this thing out of here.
What is this thing?
Yeah. And he rails the gate, like the top of the gate, like just if he would have kept going, he would have ripped the whole thing down.
We're taking Paramount down today.
Then all the writers start cheering.
Yeah, it was just like it was.
We love on location.
Oh my God! Like it was so bad.
Wow.
The gate was split in half, and like we aired it down, backed it up, and
oh no,
going back in. That was a $15,000 mistake. So yeah, that was expensive, but.
I'd have been out there fixing that shit myself.
Oh, dude.
I'll take care of it. I've got this.
There was no movies being shot.
Right.
There was all the strikes happening.
Yeah.
So like Paramount Paramount. Now Skydance.
Yeah.
They're
like, listen, we don't have anything rolling in right now.
Yeah.
So
it was all the union labor to do a weld and like do some
6 guys.
patchwork. And like I
Yeah.
made it sound like it was like, oh my God, we wrecked
I got
the
this
whole
buddy
place.
John. I'll bring it back to his shop. Get that thing welded up real quick.
Yeah. So like, that's part of the whole entrepreneurial journey of like,
Oh yeah.
Things like as simple as, just pull the truck into Paramount and it'll be
Mhm.
fine. And it's like, and then you have to like put a face on and like sell the truck and like do all this stuff. Oh, you guys are the guys who hit the gate. Yeah.
You
want me to?
you guys?
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you about it?
Yeah.
So like I don't know that I have a lot of those stories in my career, which has been fun. Not in the moment, but like look back on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you just recently did a shoot for a Modelo commercial for the college games that were just happening this past weekend. Alex, do you have that available? Can you pull some of that stuff up? It's just kind of cool to watch some of the content, or maybe you have some behind the scenes stuff of that.
Yeah, I have the behind the scenes. So Modelo is a new potential client of ours who we're working really hard to like get in with the biggest brand in the world, beer brand in the world, and they just released a new college football campaign called The Recruiter, and it's like this new character. It's kind of similar to the the most interesting man in the world for Dos Equis and like flow. And it's like a character that you try to create for a campaign. And if you can hit it, it's gold. I was fortunate enough in my early PA days. I did the very first Farmers University commercial with J.K. Rowling.
Oh yeah.
And we burned down this house in this like massive sound studio in Downey, California, and they built the space shuttles. It was like this massive building, and we built this whole 3-story house, and we burned it down. And it was like this craziest thing. And that was kind of the start of. Well, it was really. I mean, Geico was probably one of the first, like with the caveman and like the pigs and. Which we did all the pig stuff too.
And the lizard.
Yeah.
The lizard,
well, that
the
evolved
geckos.
into the lizard.
Gecko,
And like Frank Todaro is like a huge, he's a director that I got an opportunity to work under as a PA and like watch him work. And he was like a big part of like creating all these characters for insurance companies. And like, it just exploded. Now everybody's got a character, like. And
I want to say, going back a little bit further than that, the real first characters I want to say were the Budweiser frogs.
The frogs.
Right?
What?
Yeah, Budweiser.
Oh, let's see. Is this him right here?
Yeah. So this was a video I took from Allegiant Stadium. So this was when LSU and USC were playing last weekend, and so he's about to get introduced, and so like his commercial is playing in the background, and I'm filming him. I mean, you can just play.
Well, and it's playing on the. Well,
audio.
it's playing not just on the big screen inside Allegiant Stadium, but it's on TV.
It's everywhere
for the game. It's everywhere in the world.
I've never.
It was
seen,
live.
Yeah, dude.
He's
live.
just hanging there live.
Got it. Okay, got it.
He was about to go on live television on ESPN to announce the game, announce the college football season starting on ESPN. Like it's officially kicked off. I'm looking for the best football fan. That kind of thing. And it's wild, man, because no one knew about this character on Friday when we like met up with him, and like the spots started dropping,
and he's about to become the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah,
part
like,
2.
If it takes off,
Right.
like they've got a really good chance to like make a good character with this guy.
Yeah.
And like we were with him, and like he goes out to dinner, and like on every TV he's on the Uber app, on like Ubering, like getting an Uber, he's there.
Whoa.
Like it's everywhere, like
It's instant.
just plastered. Like as an actor, you like hit the lottery. Like you
Like, and now he's starting to realize, like,
the
dude,
gravity.
I might have
of-
just blown up.
the gravity of his wife and kids were there. We were like kind of watching the whole thing. By the second day, people, as he would get out of the elevator in his costume, were like, "That's the recruiter. That's the guy." And we were like watching this star being born, and it was like the coolest experience. Now he's full blown. You see a
play that little clip that we got there, Alex.
Yeah, so this is him like rehearsing to go on live with his commercial playing in the background in a Allegiant sellout crowd,
Right.
more than the Super Bowl. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's me.
Oh, there
this
I
is
am."
cool."
Right.
And it's like, it's just wild to like, it was his birthday too.
Oh
that day.
man, how cool!
So cool.
And it was super cool to like just be with him during this.
What's his name?
Anthony Fernandez.
Okay. Was he a Hollywood actor then?
Yeah, I mean he was in like a Happy Madison movie called Hometown. He was in a couple other things, but like little roles, nothing crazy.
This is like his big, like, I finally made it kind of a
Dude, this
opportunity,
is like,
right? Yeah.
This is everybody's dream. Like
What does a guy like this make? This thing goes wild. It goes crazy. It's all over. He starts doing commercials. I mean, what does a guy like this have the potential to make over a year period?
I mean, I don't know his contract and I don't want to speak on his contract, but
Right.
like if we talk about just general terms of SAG and like the
Mhm.
rates of the tiers, you know, he has a negotiated rate that they pay for him to shoot the commercial. But
Mhm.
when it airs, it's a residual, like just like music when it plays. And nobody understands like music, especially like when you're walking through a hotel and you hear music playing
They're
in
getting
the
paid.
background and like on the slot machine, the music,
Yep.
they're getting paid. They should be getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, all this different stuff. And so when an actor is the face of a campaign, like Flow is for progressive,
Right.
it's like, dude, you just hit the lottery. Like
Yeah.
you are getting paid in like a quarter, one quarter,
Mhm.
like $500,000 to $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah,
and
it's
that,
big time.
Oh,
and that thing could just keep going, you know,
Jake?
like
Jake from State Farm?
oh, dude. And like
Yeah.
now, like that's a full blown character.
Yeah.
You know, he's getting paid millions of dollars just to show up. And then, you know, residuals on top of that.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, because he gets paid for the initial, and then every time it airs, you know, it's funny because when did that all start, right? Because I know, like, you know, just watching documentaries in the past, people like Bob Denver, who was on Gilligan's Island, right? You know, he could never get another part doing anything else. First of all, because he was Gilligan, and you know, so he's like typecast as that dude, and nobody would ever hire him again. But he didn't have a contract where he got residuals. And, you know, I used to watch Gilligan's Island when I was a kid, and that was just one of the first things that was on TBS that would just constantly be playing
Went
every
into
day.
syndication.
That's the word I was looking for, syndication. He never got paid for that, at least as far as
That's
I understand.
heartbreaking.
Right? Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Because I mean, it's still, that show's still playing today. You know, I don't think Bob Denver's alive anymore, but you know, God, he lost out on a lot of money. But I think that was like one of the first shows where they said, "Hey, you know, these actors need to be getting paid because somebody's making all this money off all these reruns, and you know, these people that the actors and whoever was involved should be." I know from the production standpoint, you guys don't make money on residuals. You guys get paid, and you guys are
Yeah, we're work for hire.
work for hire.
Yeah, I mean, like, and it's as a business owner and as a production company, you can be pretty creative when it comes to payment.
Mhm.
If you are willing to pay your guys, like your guys are not going to work for, and gals, lots of gals are
Yeah.
not going to work for free.
Mhm.
But like a production company can come in and give like in-kind services to a client for a piece of
Back end.
upside or
Yeah.
something, you know, or a
Mhm.
piece of something. It's a very Wild West creative business, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I actually, you know, recently have just been really struggling with of like just getting back to the business side of this.
Mhm.
You know, I've just been so in it, like we were talking about.
Instead
like,
of working on the business, you're working in the business. And
Yeah.
when you're working in the business, you can't work on the business. It's too much.
I can't grow it. You
Right.
know, like I'm hitting these glass ceilings that it's like we're starting to do these massive, like really cool like campaigns and I think we talked about this briefly, but we're getting into activations now where like we're not only doing some sort of like experiential type experience is what we're actually doing with John. Like we're doing this really cool stuff for F1
Mhm.
where we're like John's building these like replica podiums that fans will get to come and take pictures with,
Yeah.
you know, for the race. And we get to film that, but we also get to execute on the idea too. And we get to like, you know, kind of place the podiums and like we do all these like crazy things all around Vegas. Vegas is like the activation capital of the world, it seems like. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to get more into that. So
I think we have a clip of some of the stuff we did, Alex, for F1 last year. It was just some signage, some Vegas signage that we were having to change out as each of the drivers approached and came into the race, which was I don't know, probably 4 hours before the race started. All the racers are all showing up, and we were greeting the racers, and we had this big Las Vegas sign and we were changing it out. It was magnetic and we had names of all the drivers that were coming in and we were on radios and we're like, hey,
so-and-so's coming in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lewis Hamilton's on his way.
20 seconds.
Exactly. 20 seconds to change it out. And this was George Russell, which, one of the nicest guys out of all the drivers out there. I want this guy to win. And he's been winning races this year.
You got Blue Man. Cool.
Yeah. Blue Man Group is there. We got all the Elvises there. And he's like, wow, what's this? He was just so happy and impressed that, Las Vegas was greeting him in this way. Got his Las Vegas jacket, and we flipped that sign out real quick for his name up. And if you see just behind there in the parking lot, there's a bunch of other signs. You can kind of see them laying on the ground there. There's a bunch of other signs that we'd have to rip this magnet off, pop in another one. Yeah. For the next driver that was coming in. So, these are the activations that Carl's referring to here. It's some pretty fun stuff.
It's like the most, that's what I love about our business is
it's not boring,
dude. It's like the grass is the grass is always greener because I'm always jealous of the mailman, but because it's like such a consistent business. But there's no boredom. There's no
it is go, go, go.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah. So
I remember working. I worked an event for you guys a couple of years ago with the lacrosse team, and
yeah, exactly.
That was
lacrosse was coming to town.
That event was. I'm like, wow, you guys. I'm in entertainment, but that event on the back end, holding a camera, I'm like, oh my god, this is. I handed Wayne Gretzky a microphone.
Right.
I'm like, dude, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe Tsai was there.
Joe Tsai was there. I mean,
that's multi-billionaire Alibaba guy.
Yeah.
Dustin Johnson. Yeah, that was.
Well, we had to stream
cool
in
event.
Dustin Johnson, and this is during the program, they come to us and say, "Hey, Dustin Johnson,
he's
pro
gonna
golfer,
FaceTime in."
Yeah, he's gonna FaceTime in. Can you guys get that set up? And I'm like,
for the arena,
really? Right? You're saying you want to do that right now? I mean, that's not easy to do.
Yeah, he's calling in 2 minutes.
Exactly. And we're scrambling to figure out how to add all of that stuff in, but we got it aired. We got it happen. We made it happen. And
then we got to relay that. We're in an arena. We're in Michelob Ultra Arena. Yeah. It's empty, thank God. But you got to then put it up onto the big screen because it's a press junket announcing that Vegas is getting a lacrosse team.
Right.
Don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up. Especially with Joe Tsai and Wayne Gretzky sitting there making sure that
these are the owners of the team.
Exactly. You can't screw it up. You got to make it happen.
Broadcast.
Yeah, live broadcast.
Cool. That was cool.
That was super cool, man.
So Carl, now you've clearly, the duration of this conversation, ups and downs, and you've been through it all so far. What is next?
Yeah, what's next? On the
what
agenda?
do you want to do? What's in the dreams in your mind?
I want to build a legacy business, and I want to build something that not is going to change the industry or anything like that. I do want to build something that is beyond me. I want it now that I have a son now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Little
man.
10-month-old.
Yeah.
And
cute as a button too.
Does he have a little camera?
Yeah.
He's got this little wooden thing that he eats. It's a wooden camera that he's that's the wrong end, son. But yeah.
Hopefully it's not a real wooden camera because those parts and components are pretty expensive.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to build this company, Frequency. I started Frequency as this lifestyle business that that feeling when you are done with school and it's summer break and it's freedom.
Yeah.
That is what working on a commercial is or a movie, mainly commercials, because you're unemployed when it's over and it's freedom. And then you're shit.
When's the next? Yeah.
And so when you're working as a crew member, you've got these, this business is a very lifestyle business for a lot of guys. They work their asses off for 8 months of the year and they take off 4 monts. That's how
I know a couple of those guys.
Yeah.
A couple of your guys that do some work with us too on the general session.
Yep.
And event work. And yeah, they're hanging. They're
Yeah.
hanging.
I'm
Let's
jealous.
go to the lake. It's Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I can't go to the lake right now, bro.
Yeah.
I'm working.
I know.
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
And you know, that's,
Which I want to bring him on, by the way, too, because he's, dude, every time I work with that guy, he is the most comical guy
Oh,
on
yeah.
set, dude. If you're falling asleep on set, you're not anymore, because he is pushing jokes through the
Nice.
headphones, dude. And you're trying to keep composure in front of the client, and the stuff he's saying, you were just dying.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
and that's another thing too, is like, it's fun, like, you know, being a part of a band or being a part
Yeah.
of something that's like, it's close camaraderie. I love our business because we, you know, like working in corporate America, like you could hide a lack of talent or a skill from your coworkers for like a year, you know, before like people really kind of
Get it.
catch on, like, yeah, Bob doesn't really know his job, you know, like,
Right.
like it's 2 hours on a film set. Within the first 2 hours, like, I'll know if like we're having to cover your ass or like having to figure out like how to, you know, this guy does or girl does not know what he's doing. And,
Mhm.
you know, so I love that about it. Like, there's no bullshit. And there's a lot of camaraderie, but like, as far as the future goes, like, you know, Vegas is a big target for the film industry right now.
Yeah.
For the tax incentive, we want to be a kind of a leader in that space. I definitely want to build like a legacy business that I can work on and not in. I love developing client relationships and like, you know, thinking an idea into existence. Like, oh yeah, like I want to go work with Modelo. Like, how do I make that happen? Like, well,
Yeah.
let's go figure it out, you know?
How did you make that happen?
Well, it's all relationship based, you know?
He just kept drinking Modelo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hopefully they'll see me with this bottle.
Yeah.
Just playing, yeah.
That's a responsible human being. Let's have them direct our commercials.
Exactly. That drunk over there.
Yeah. So yeah, I was ironically, so Vegas, LVCVA, so Visit Las Vegas,
Mhm.
is a big client of ours. They had a new agency come in and start doing new ad agency, Gray, out of New York. One of the biggest ad
They are
agency.
huge. Matter of fact, Victoria, who works for me out of our Massachusetts, she used to work for Gray 25 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's grown.
Yeah. She's from New York City. She knows them quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a part of a bigger conglomerate now, WPP,
Mhm.
which is like, I don't even know what they stand for now, but anyways, like we're talking about an agency that represents like Coca-Cola, Pringles, Applebee's, you know, Mass Mutual, Vegas, Modelo, you know, like huge brands
Mhm.
that are constantly advertising. And this is just a more of a business story than anything.
Sure.
Then it's all about relationships.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
you never know who you're talking to, and you never,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? Don't burn bridges. Like,
Right.
so anyways, this girl, Lauren, was like a junior producer, when I met her, when started the Vegas account. Like, they took over the Vegas account from the ad agency side on the social media side.
Okay.
I met her up on the Speedway, and we were doing some like crazy drone stuff with some NASCAR, like Dale Earnhardt experience, you know, thing that they have up there.
Mhm.
And just kind of stayed in touch with her, you know, over the years. And then she like quickly rose the ladder. She like became vice president, like executive producer at this agency, and oversaw the Vegas account. And then she's also on Modelo and Mass Mutual, and she's like heading up all this stuff. And she's like doing like $5 million Modelo commercials. I'm
Mhm.
like, and it's all about how you treat people and how you talk to people, and like,
Well, and how you take care of them too, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, because at the end of the day, like, you know, they have their client, right? And we have clients that have clients, right?
Mm.
And I need to make them look good in front of their client.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter if I look bad, as long as they look good,
yeah,
right? And so sometimes you just have to jump in there and save the day for them so they look great in front of their client. And you might have to be the guy who takes the fall for it. And I've done that many times before, because at the end of the day, the client, your client,
It's happy.
is still happy, right? And I've had clients that jump from one place to another place to another place to another place, and over the last 20 years, they're still my client.
Yeah.
and,
So call you.
and so are the
Yeah.
4 other places that they were at,
Mm.
right?
Because business is about relationships. Like
It is.
you want to work with people you like being around and you like talking to. Like business, the business part of it is
Yeah.
like 20%. Like that's, you can do okay, check, you can do the job. Check, you have a pulse. Check, you can deliver on time and on budget. But like, do I
Yeah.
like you? And like,
Mhm.
are you fun? Like, can I ideate with you? Can I challenge your ideas and you not take them offensively?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of these things are like staples for like a big business and a huge business relationship.
Not
over
to
the long
mention
term.
internally too,
Yeah.
right? Internally, your own crew. You want to be able to work with your own crew and hang out with your own crew and get along with your own crew, because it makes the job really difficult if it's always like everything's a problem, everything's an issue.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just like you want it to be easy, and you want to, hey, I'll take care of you, you take care of me. Can you get this done? Yeah. What do you need? All right, I'll go take care of that.
And there's, I mean, in our business, like you work in 16-hour days, like it gets
Mhm.
it gets to be.
You're
a
here more
grind.
than you're at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what, 8:00 right now?
Yeah.
I'm missing bedtime,
Yep.
but it's like, I'm developing a relationship with John and you, but like
Yeah.
we work together,
Yeah.
and this is like a perfect example of like just building the relationship and outside of traditional work,
Right.
So
And knowing
That's
that,
amazing.
and I hope that Carl knows that he can count on me when stuff hits the fan.
Yeah.
And, I know that vice versa, the same thing. I mean, there's
very few.
an issue
people-
going on with a project right now that we're working on, and it's my issue. Right. And, spent a lot of hours trying to figure out how to deal and do this project. And it got into the 11th or 12th hour on Sunday night.
On Labor Day weekend.
On Labor
You're
Day
laboring
weekend.
away.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, and he called me out on it. He's all, I know it was hard for you to hit me up with this problem, but it was like, it's a problem and I'm out of solutions, and I need to now let Carl know what's going on
Mm.
so that we can figure out alternative solutions.
Yeah.
And I dreaded doing it, but I knew at the same time I could reach out if it came to that position. And believe me, I know how much work he's got on his plate outside. He's doing Modelo at this point in time. I know he's got a lot of stuff on his plate, and I don't want to have to bug him unless I have to bug him.
Totally.
And I got to a point where I'm like, I have to reach out. I have to let him know that we're in this issue and we need to come to a resolution. Some decisions need to be made that I thought at least were beyond my ability to just make the decision. So,
That's
I hit him up
a huge part of being a producer. Like I need to know these problems. If it is like, don't hide them because it will grow into a big ugly monster.
Are you guys trying?
You know.
If you can't solve, if this man is having, are you guys trying to figure out how to fix the
How-
economy or something?
How
Is
do
this-
you wrap with a very specific design a
Mhm.
motorcycle helmet? And your boy Noel
Yeah.
had like the best analogy. He's like, think about putting a piece of paper over a bowling ball. There's going to be wrinkles.
Yeah.
There's going to be things that don't, and there's all these different ways to do it, creative ways. But at the end of the day, like the logos that are on this helmet have like very copywritten text, and they have to look a certain way.
They can't be distorted.
The IP is very precious. That's the
Mhm.
whole point of why you're putting this sticker. It's not a really cool zigzag,
Right.
or like a camouflage thing like that hydro dip.
Right.
It was like, it's the Vegas sign or like F1 or whatever. And
Right.
so, yeah, we're just figuring out like,
Wow.
and you're working with limited resources and a big timetable, and like this thing has to look like a trophy. It needs to look like fucking sweet, when you
Yeah.
get it in the mail.
Right.
Because it's an invitation to something that we can't talk about yet.
Sure.
But yeah. So and John his team are racking their brains around it. And, like the fortunate thing is that we've built relationships of trust with our clients that is like, I'm in the same boat as John. And like, I don't go to them unless this requires attention, and when they know that I come to them, I don't just cry wolf, and I'm not like just, complaining.
Every single thing is a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, this needs your attention, and I will work with you hand in hand to figure out a solution. But like, it's going to cost time, money, or resources, or quality, good, fast, cheap.
Good, fast, cheap. You can only pick two.
Yeah. What do you want?
Wow.
Yeah.
But,
That's
You can get it good and fast, but you can't get it cheap.
right.
Right.
if you want
You
it
can get
cheap and if you want it good, it's
Does it
not
gotta-
going to be fast.
Right.
All the so we as a production company are trying to like figure out the trifecta, for our clients. And we get walked on a little bit sometimes because we do bend over and we really try to make it happen. And sometimes that doesn't get acknowledged, and that's okay. That's part of the business, part of why you get paid a premium. But yeah, just trying to.
It's kind of thankless. Some of the stuff that we're doing is thankless work, but that's okay too.
Man, I've never been on like a food shoot or like a mayonnaise commercial that has not felt like we're trying to cure cancer. Like,
Right.
everyone in that room is like treating the mayonnaise commercial as if it's the NASA space launch.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I sometimes on set, and I sometimes like step back and I like think about like what I'm actually doing, and I'm like, okay, like
Not curing
I'm not
cancer.
launching satellites into space.
Right.
Right.
That will tell someone where to go, on a GPS or something. So I don't know. Well, I mean, what are you trying to do, with your career?
Yeah. There's a point of a similarity. What I think maybe when you're saying the freedom of commercials and that's going from being a signed recording artist and touring musician now. When you said wanting to create a legacy business with Frequency, and that's where I'm at now with Life by Music, which is my 501c3 that I run. And it's definitely not for profit. It's not a big money making scenario, but it's making a big impact, which really excites me. The industry kind of humbled my brother and I a lot, and we got over wanting to be on the cover of all the magazines. Like,
But you were.
we've already done it,
Yeah.
like, because it doesn't stop. It's like, okay, we were on one. Like, when's the next
now
one
you need
coming?
3.
Yeah, when's the next one? What? Oh man, I didn't. And we're still releasing music. We've got independent stuff coming now, but now I'm really heavily focused on making a mark in the community, being born and raised out here in Las Vegas, and helping and getting music to the people, music and musical resources, and the effort of like, hey, you can play music, you can learn music, you can be around music and the arts. Trying to get it to as many people as possible, the people who need it the most.
Super admirable.
Yeah,
And
I appreciate that.
if we can help in any way, like as far as promoting it or doing
Thank you, man.
content for it, like
He's
let me
had Steel came out and shot. We did a
cool.
show at 29 Palms, back in June,
Yeah,
and Steel came out and shot it because they taught the Marines out there how to play guitar, and then
That's badass.
after they taught them how to play guitar,
I know this is Carl's episode, but should we play the video?
yeah, do
hell
we
yeah.
have it? Do we have it
Let's see,
available?
I can send it to Alex.
Send
real
it
quick.
to Alex.
So we don't just work with we work with kids, teens, and in the last 2 years we have expanded our outreach to veterans also.
He's doing a veteran school right now, and every week he's teaching for free. They get guitars and everything for free. The veterans come to the space, and Ryan teaches them every week how to play guitar.
Yeah, it's
So
oh, there we go. You got it right here, dude. Nice. Alex on the
Yeah,
spot,
sweet.
baby.
yeah, you want to just play that one out, Alex?
Is this what Steel shot?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it looks like Steel. I could tell from the first shot.
Nice. Sorry for stealing your
No,
spotlight.
no, dude. I don't like talking about myself.
What's up, everybody? Ryan, Adrian, Joe, Sean went out to get a guitar. We're
Adrian's
the
my
band
brother,
otherwise.
my older
We're
brother.
going to be playing tonight with Jimmy Eat World, but we also run a music organization called Life by Music. We work with at-risk youth and teens, and in the last 2 years, we've expanded our outreach to veterans, and now we get to work with active duty. So thank you guys for the sacrifices that you're making so that we get to go play and live our dreams. So this is in essence, we hope that we can offer some of our knowledge so that we can enrich your guys' lives. That's why we're here today. This is actually the first time we get to work with active duty, which is super cool. We've been trying to do this for a long time. Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. We gotta find a new acronym though. I mean, I don't know if that's the best one, but every amateur does get better eventually. So, you know, hopefully this little hang that we get to have right now will
nice
inspire you
guitars.
guys to want to play, and you'll get better and better and better. So E-A-D-G-B-E. Okay.
Hot off the press.
And then we're gonna take
Epiphone
our third and
guitars.
fourth fingers. And we're gonna put them on the third fret. On the, yeah, there you go. On the third fret. Yes, exactly. Oh, we got a shredder over here.
These
You're a
Marines
secret
were so
shredder, aren't you?
good.
I saw that
They
right
were
hand,
good,
dude.
man.
You know, they're like used
Within
to.
an hour, he had them
Now let's try
playing,
and strum
dude.
all six. Boom, boom, boom. Nice, 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 nice. Try to get that bullseye too. Yeah, right there. That's the good
Suppose
spot.
they're used to instruction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can follow
Okay, well, we
direction,
have
right?
those our two fingers on that G chord. We can do more. This is more, I like to call it the simple G chord. We'll start here, and if we have time, we'll add.
So
our
we're
third
developing like our own manuals
So right
and
here
stuff
with
that
our,
we can
with our
we can
picks. Now let's try it.
with hopes
and
to
just
scale
strum through
scale
all
the
six
outreach.
I love the dream. This is like it's a big dream.
Yeah.
And I love that you're doing it with the military. Like that's such an underserved,
Really is,
like
man.
creativity,
And
like
underappreciated.
this, you know? Yeah.
At least,
Oh, yeah.
at least from a civilian aspect. Yeah.
Make some noise for your first band of the night. Make some noise for otherwise.
So the zinger is when we got them on stage. We played that night, super cool, open for Jimmy Eat World. Those guys are super nice, really talented.
We have a music initiative called Life by Music. The tent is right over there. We're going to be there later. It's all about getting music education, instruments to people that need it. So this morning, for the first time, we were honored. We are proud civilians. We are so thankful to be Americans. We were honored to teach some Marines, some rock and roll. We just want to let you know, those guitars you guys played this morning, they're yours.
You guys get to take them home, man, right now. They're yours.
Hey, give it
Take them back to the lyrics, man.
Wow, that's
These
cool.
So we gave
are
them
yours.
18
Life by
guitars
Music,
that
baby.
night.
Thank you all for letting us chase our dreams.
Life by Music is super thankful for all your
So
support.
it's a little,
We
you know,
could not do
sizzle
this without the
thing
support of
about
our community.
what we're doing,
and
sending it out to
people who believe in the
donors.
power
And,
of music. So
you know,
thank
our
so
goal is
much.
to
lifebymusic.org. Follow
get
us on
this in the
socials,
hands of
and
the
keep
USO.
spreading the power of music, because music
take
can
this
change
to
Yeah,
lives.
I was
a handful of
talking to
music
the
will live.
USO when I was out there too. You need to reach back out.
We need to reach out to that lady.
Yeah.
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 So that's
Really
one aspect of our organization now.
Really well done too.
Yeah, Steel
Still
killed it.
kills it, dude.
Yeah,
You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's coming out with me next month for a couple of general sessions too.
Nice.
So yeah.
I mean, Ryan's a natural leader, dude. Like that's
Dude, he is,
you can. I was just watching like the way you present and talk, and but like also are very intimate with like your instruction and like it's very personable. So keep that up.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I've known for a while now that you're a boss man. You know, it's coming from the boss man. So hearing that from you, there's one cool thing about our podcast, our conversation, the Ain't Done Yet podcast, is like connecting with these like heavy hitters, the guys with good souls, guys and gals, and people that are pushing forward that aren't done yet. You know, we ain't done yet. We got more to do.
Dude, I feel like I just got started.
Yeah, man.
Like, honestly, it's a wild experience.
Yeah.
You know, looking back, even just on the few videos that we played, I was just like, man, like at that
So much left to conquer, man. So much left to do.
I remember like some of those videos, like you put everything into that, you know, and it's just like, holy shit. Like now it's just like, another click on YouTube, you know, like
it's millions and millions of clicks later though, man. It's great.
It's pretty cool though that our business and, you know, what you do with like building these like, huge exhibits, you know, like it's experiential. Like people get to like, they live on. Yours is way cooler because it like people get to touch and feel it and like interact with it.
Yeah.
You know, ours is just half the time it's just being watched on one of these.
Well, I mean, that's an interaction in itself though, too, right? I mean, I do appreciate the fact, you know, and that's what's so fun about my business is that I'm creating something that not only do the clients get to interact with and they're excited about, and it's great to see their face when it comes to life, you know, because it starts out as this 3-dimensional, you know, colorized rendering and stuff. And when we can build that and it looks better in real life than it does on paper, and the clients are like, I cannot believe that this is how this thing turned out. That's super exciting on my end.
Yeah.
But then you also have these other people that are coming into the exhibit and they're like, wow, this is great.
It was built for those people.
Right. And then you see, you know, just like you mentioned, like you see all the views that your videos are getting online. And I'm watching how these companies started out in this little 10x10 booth. And now they're in 30x40s and 40x50s. And they're this giant companies that were, you know, had 15 people when we started working with them. So, you know, it's good to see how all of that creation comes to life and how these businesses are built that are supporting more families, you know. That's what's really, really cool about the business.
Well, Karl, we didn't go into, you know, your understanding of, you know, the blockchain and crypto. And I do remember when we did that gig, you had mentioned it at dinner, and you know, you guys were doing your business. And I was just a side PA sitting, like I just was holding stuff for you guys. And I was like, when you were talking about it, I'm like, man, I need to start paying attention to Bitcoin. You know, so I will say, you know, there was another guy actually, Brandon Burns.
Yeah.
He was in my veterans course.
Yeah.
And he also taught John.
He taught me, he got
CCW.
Yeah,
right?
my CCW. So I got my CCW through Brandon.
Yeah.
He's a pretty outspoken, you know, and in the political realm here.
Great veteran. And he did my course.
Awesome veteran.
Last year. And then he was big in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, it's time. So we don't get to touch on that too much. I know we're getting.
Well, Karl's another one that we got to bring back.
We'll
because
have
he's
to
tapping in. I mean, all these entrepreneurs that we bring in here. What's that?
I might look different.
Yeah, just a little bit, right? But we bring in all these entrepreneurs and they have all this great information, and that's what's cool about the entrepreneurs is there's always something new to talk about.
Yeah.
There's always something inspiring that comes out. And that's what I've learned over this, 10 plus episodes now. We're in the teens now. And that's what I learn every time is that, geez, I'm getting nuggets myself, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of hosting something like this is, what do you think Joe Rogan's constantly doing? He's just talking to all the people he wants to talk to.
Yeah,
exactly.
So cool.
Isn't that cool? That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been really, really great so far. So really excited when JB mentioned that we were going to get you on. I was like, oh, sick! This is going to be good, dude.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great conversation. It has been. It's inspiring.
I hope it's been something of some sort of nugget.
Absolutely,
Definitely,
I
man.
just feel like I've rambled for a while, but
No,
Not
but
at all.
if people are really wondering if the conversations are going, just look at the man's. Look up location on
on location production.
on location productions, Frequency Films,
Frequency Pictures.
Yep.
Frequency Pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, the whatever you're saying and everything you're saying about what you're feeling, it comes from a place of experience and success,
Thank you.
know,
Thank
and
you.
innovation. Clearly, that's wild, man.
Yeah.
But we do like to end our podcasts, and we like to ask this question: if you could go back in time and speak to your younger self, what would you say to him?
Let go sooner. Let go of that ego sooner. And it's a team business. Ask for help. Ask for, find those books faster. But yeah, I don't know. Patience is something that, like a word that you could just like echo through time, like be patient, and
where's that patience?
I know, I am me too. And that's part of what makes our business so good and,
Right.
and why we deliver for our clients is because we expect things on time, on budget.
Yeah.
And, or ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
And we expect it to be like premier quality, but, yeah, I don't know. Let go a little bit sooner, and man, I don't know.
I mean, I think that's a
Let go
great.
sooner,
I
that's
think
it,
those are
yeah.
great points to find books faster.
Find
That's-
books faster. I
that's
love
good,
that.
man.
Yeah, find
Yeah.
books faster because there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
It's funny. Who did I watched the other day? I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah. So
And-
do I.
And I was watching this quote. I think it was Dan Martell. He's an author that I'm reading right now. Buy Back Your Time. But he was saying, like, I think it was him. But he's like, we're living in the realities of people from the past. Like, we are literally living in people's like imagination that they just like figured out, and like,
Yeah.
we're living in that. So if you want to change the reality, go do it. Like, this is your chance to have the future live within your reality now, or your imagination now.
Yeah.
Everything that we see around us has all been an idea from somebody created. But
Your brother was talking about that on one of the episodes. You see that camera right there? Somebody had to figure out how that lens works inside that camera. Somebody had to figure out how that memory records it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody had to figure out how that tripod
And
holds
the
that
microphone,
camera up, and the
to
microphone,
get
and
the
the
sound.
the little what is it called inside there? The I don't even know.
Yeah,
Can't
I'm a
even
guitar
remember.
player, man.
I'm the mic
Strings.
guy.
But I mean, this applies to your business as it
Yeah.
applies to your family. Like that reality that you grew up in was a reality created and established by your parents and your grandparents and your generation. And like, this is I love the quote of like from Ed Milet, where he's like, be the one in your family. There's always one in a family tree that either changes the family direction in a good or a bad way. And I want to be the one in my
To
family
change it.
that brings that legacy component. My parents set us up for that.
Right.
But I want to be the one that like steps up to the plate and hits the ball at least. I don't know if it's going to be an outfield out or what, but I need to.
You're swinging the bat.
I'm going to swing. I'm not going to be on the bench.
Swinging away. You're not taking the walk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that reality that we're talking about is it could just be, you showing up every day to work with a good attitude to have a good working environment for your colleagues or your family, showing up for them and, being the person that you want to be, become that person, you know, and that's
become the person you're dreaming about.
Yeah.
So that's I guess where we can leave it. But
now you got me. I got to ask you another.
okay.
So it's quick ones, just lists, but it's two different Mount Rushmores. One will be your Mount Rushmores of movie directors and directors, and the second one would be the second one would be books for like the entrepreneur or for the human, you know, like your top.
Okay. We'll start with books, I guess. I would do for the entrepreneur. I would do Andy Frisella. He would definitely.
That's 75 hard. Right?
Yeah. He's just an absolute monster of a human being. Tony Robbins, you know, he's the guy that started it, the whole self-development help, you know, in the modern era.
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill. I would probably put him on there as far as like figuring out the whole like universe thing that affects your thought, you know, like, which is really the Bible. I mean, Bible has like, not saying the Bible needs to be on the entrepreneurial list, but like
it could be.
This is a book.
Oh, it could be for sure, without a doubt.
Sure.
This is a book filled with stories, you know, that are, whether you believe in them or not, but they are very real and engaging stories that like, go take a read, man. Like put the faith aside. Just read the Bible. Like,
that's what I always said too. And I haven't read the Bible in its entirety either, but I can tell you, you know, I mean, even my kids were brought up Christian and they learned a lot of values, regardless if they believe in God or don't believe in God. There was values instilled in them from the stories that they learned.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm reading Joseph's biography right now. I'm reading two books simultaneously, but I'm reading Joseph, and Joseph, man, the guy's story is like, you know, the man, the robe of many colors, and you know, he was like the youngest son of like 15 brothers, and his dad Job was like, he was his favorite son, and he cut, you know, and all of his brothers were super jealous, and like his brothers sold him into slavery, and then like kicked his ass. We're gonna kill him. Then the oldest brother was like, "Nah, that's cool. We'll just sell him." And then they sold him, and then he becomes the captain of the guards, like the chief executioner.
I mean, this is Game of Thrones, by the way.
Yeah.
In the Bible.
Yeah. This is the Bible. Like, like this story is insane. This guy, he becomes the slave of the chief executioner, and he's, you know, godly in his ways. And the wife of this chief executioner, this Joseph in the Bible was pretty good looking. And the wife tries to seduce him, and like, he's just like, no. Like, and eventually like walks away from her, like after multiple attempts of a girl trying to get with, you know, like, this is a slave, you know, he's like, and so she cries rape to his man. And this is the chief executioner, dude. Like, where do you think he's going? And so he gets thrown in jail. I think the chief executioner knew that his wife was a little unfaithful, and, you know, like, okay, fuck, just lost my best slave. Right. And so he's in jail again and wrongly imprisoned. Two guys, pharaohs, cupbearer and bread maker, come in to the jail cell with him, and they have these bad dreams. So Joseph was known for like interpreting dreams.
Okay.
And he like interpreted these guys' dreams. One guy was like, "You're going to get out of jail in 3 days." The other guy, "You're going to get executed in 3 days." And they both came true. And he was like, "Don't forget about me when you go back to Pharaoh." The dude forgets about him for 2 years. And then finally, Pharaoh has a bad dream of like 7 cows or 7 crows, like fat cows coming out of the Nile. And then like fucking like sickly cows, 7 of them. And then he has another dream. He wakes up in the middle of the night and he has another dream. And it's like 7 ears of corn that are like crazy. And then he has and then followed by like a fertile, like a barren crop. And he's like, I need to know what this means.
Right.
And this cupbearer like remembers this guy, Joseph. Anyways, gets this guy. This is a long story, by the way. Sorry.
No, keep going. I'm listening.
And he gets this Joseph out of prison. Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dream to him and says, you're going to have 7 years of plenty and you're going to have 7 years of a famine. And it's going to be such a bad famine that everybody's going to forget about the 7 years of the good harvest.
Yep.
So you better have somebody that knows how to plan for this, because this is going to be a bad problem for you. And he doesn't take credit for anything. He's like, no, the Lord told me this, you know, like, and he's like almost like he's like telling Pharaoh about God, and Pharaoh makes him the prime minister. This guy's life is insane. And I didn't tell you this, but in the beginning of the story, the reason why Joseph's brothers hated him so much is because he was like interpreting dreams.
Oh, okay.
In the family household. And he was like, guys, guess what? I like had this dream the other night and you guys were all bowing down to me and like worshiping me. And it was crazy.
Like, whatever, brother.
He was just like, exactly. They were like, bro, like get a grip. Like, we're not bowing down to you. Like, we hate you.
Right.
You know? And turns out, you know, long story longer, they have this 7 years of famine and plenty, and then the harvest or the drought, and all the tribes of Israel come to Egypt. This is how they all got to Egypt, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, and Joseph brothers and everybody are like bowing down to Joseph, and they don't even know it's him.
Full circle.
And he didn't even have he could have had the ability to turn them away or be like, dude, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
For just like, and he welcomed them. He actually like told Pharaoh that like, these are my family, the Israelites, who you are not really fond of, you know, and you know, I want them to have a home here and I want them to set up shop here and all this stuff. And it was allowed to do it. So like that story in and of itself, like has so many lessons of like forgiveness and integrity and like mental fortitude and like the ability to just like trust, you know,
and keep going.
Faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that story does have a ton of elements of faith and God in it. But like that story, like go read the Bible, dude. Like that is like such a cool, there's so many stories like that in all. That's what the whole thing is.
Right. That's
it's
what
the greatest book of all time.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, those were probably the books.
Top. Yep.
And then, I mean, what was the other one?
Movie
Directors.
directors.
Oh,
Yeah.
I do Spielberg just because it's Spielberg. Chris Nolan, David Fincher. Oh,
Chris Nolan did the Batmans.
yeah,
Those are
yeah.
the
Memento.
big things.
Memento
Memento.
is his,
That was his
first.
first.
Yeah, Doodlebug was his first, which is like crazy.
Oh, okay.
That's like a Memento.
I haven't even
Inception.
seen that.
I've never even heard.
Yeah. That's his like short film.
Doodlebug?
Yeah,
Okay, we'll have to check that one out.
that's his first short film.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dunkirk, you know,
Mhm.
Inception, Interstellar. Like
Yeah, Interstellar is a mind blower.
These
It's
are
one of my
monster
favorite.
movies.
That's one of my favorite movies.
monster.
What about David Fincher? So what has he done?
Like Seven.
Yep.
Have you seen Seven?
Oh, yeah, of course.
He's doing a lot of TV now. Fincher. Can't even think. And then like Frank Darabont, maybe. It's
Okay.
like Shawshank Redemption.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
And,
fantastic.
Yeah, there's some good. I mean, like you talk about the old like Hitchcock and
Sure.
Mhm.
older ones, but
Well, Carl, you never know, man. With the Las Vegas turning into Hollywood 2.0, man, you might just be on that path.
I know. I'm telling
You might
Mark
be sitting
Wahlberg, man. You know, this guy's got this truck, dude, and it has all the stuff in it.
We'll
so
do
when
it.
you're ready, like
Yeah.
call this guy.
yeah, we'll do it.
Mr. Leto, same. Call
Yeah.
this guy.
Yeah. Well, Carl, thank you, man. I know you got your family to get to, and time is precious. So we appreciate your time on the Ain't Done Yet podcast.
Yeah,
man.
dude, we got to
Seriously.
have you back too, because we still got to talk about all that other stuff.
We got to talk about Bitcoin. We got to talk
Bitcoin
about the State of the Union.
Yeah, there you go.
America.
Yeah.
Carl, thank you so
Absolutely.
much, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, dude.
Of course.
Yeah. All right.
Till next time.
Till next time.